It's March 3rd, 2020. My name is Eric Haluzik with All Corners Home Inspections. This is the roof evaluation for this single family home here on Lakewood in southwest Albany, Oregon. As with all the videos in this report, we request that you view this video as supplemental to the written version of the report to which this video has been attached. At the time of inspection, there were a number of fairly significant reportable challenges with this single family home's gable, clear story, and nearly flat style roof. We'll do our best to detail those challenges here. First challenge we'll identify is at the left-hand side of the roof. We're seeing areas of patching. You can see that the entire rear portion of the left-hand side of the structure has been, or the color is different than the front portion, indicating that there may have been some sort of challenge at that portion of the roof line. The remainder of the roof is in moderate condition. There are areas of fairly significant granular loss. The granular material on 3-tab or architectural style roofing such as this is here primarily for UV resistance. The granular material here, you can see, is intact. However, at a variety of locations around the roof line, we're seeing accelerated roof wear. This is characteristic of a roof similar to a clear story because it's fairly challenging to ventilate vaulted style roofs. You can see here at this location, we're seeing the granular material has departed from the roof line, leaving exposed the areas of roofing material below which have no inherent UV characteristics. Moving to the flat portion, or the nearly flat portion of the roof, this left-hand side is experiencing sort of an interesting challenge. We're seeing no drains present at this side of the roof line, meaning that we're probably depending on the front portion of the roof to shed the majority of the water here. Unless I'm missing something, I'm not seeing any sort of drain. We're going to attempt to not move much more of this organic material because wet organic material can create damage to this style of roof if you move it. So we'd recommend removing these leaves fairly regularly as they can pose a challenge to this roof type. The chimney at the rear center portion of the roof line is in poor condition. We're experiencing what we can assume to be structural cracks along the flanks. So the left-hand side as well as the right-hand side of the chimney are experiencing vertical cracks, both along the grout joints, which are in turn losing significant amounts of grout material, and then continuing on through the body of the bricks as you descend the roof line, culminating in a fairly severe, nearly structural condition at the rear portion and the front portion of the left and right hand side of the chimney. You can see that same condition is being experienced here. These are called tuck points in between the bricks, and over time, if you lose enough of this grout material, water will work its way behind and in between the brickwork, and in a freeze-thaw event, that water will expand, creating cracks and in some cases structural challenges to the chimney. Additionally, we're missing a structure called a cricket, which is a gable style structure which prevents water and or snow from accumulating along the the uphill portion of the roof line or the chimney line. In a snow event, any kind of snow event with a chimney of this kind of profile, we'd expect to see minor amounts of water work its way behind that flashing and then into the interior portion of the living space. While we're up here, we're going to review a few of the challenges exposed we discovered to the exterior of the second story. I'm going to put our phone down here for a second. Most of our fascia and trim work at this structure is in sort of poor condition. This is a challenge that is experienced by roofs that have very little or no overhang. So as an example here, you have we're depending on this little kick out of flashing to work the water away from the side of the structure and prevent water from landing here. This is a case where the fascia has not deteriorated. However, at many locations around this structure, we're seeing either softness or outright rot conditions. You can see here at this location here at the right-hand facing side of the left-hand side of the house, we're seeing both delaminating as well as cupping and some softness. Got an excessive caulk joint there and treatment with caulk. Got fairly badly bowed fascia material here at the front-facing portion of the rear part of the house. You can see here that someone's made an attempt to manage the open gaps in the fascia and soffits with caulking material. It's a great short-term solution. However, long-term, it's a pretty poor use of materials. We're going to expand to a wider zoom now and show you the orientation for some of the open soffit conditions that we're identifying here. They're fairly minor, but again, you'd allow for wood-destroying insects to gain direct access into the interior portion of the living space by leaving those spots open. We're now on the flat portion of the roof line. This is the front-facing middle section of the clear story. We have sort of an ad hoc electrical conduit here, which is feeding electrical presumably to the ceiling in the interior portion of the living space. We've got open soffit condition here with some debris indicating that we had nesting birds at that location. And then sort of the same condition here, and additionally we're seeing a joint which is not joined here, and again an open soffit condition with what appears to be again more organic material in the interior portion of the soffit, presumably caused by birds. We'd highly recommend removing all of the organic material from that interior portion of the soffit void to prevent wood destroying organisms from being encouraged to occupy that space. We've got badly damaged fascia at the left-hand facing portion the right-hand facing portion of the fascia above and behind the entrance to the living space. This is not considered destructive discovery, by the way. We're not destroying anything that's in good condition. We're simply trying to test to determine what the extent of this challenge is. You've got open gaps in between siding at the left-hand facing side of the right-hand side of the roof structure. And then possibly the most severely damaged section of fascia material is here at the front-facing portion of the rear portion of the clear story at the right-hand side. You can see that this material here, I can actually just shove my finger in between. This has become so badly damaged that we'd highly recommend removing it immediately to prevent wood-destroying insects from occupying that space. An Oregon home inspection does not include a roof warranty, meaning we make no claims as to this roof's ability to keep water out of the ceiling voids and attic spaces for the living space below. There are companies which will offer such insurance policies. Again, Oregon home inspectors are forbidden from making such claims, and we claim to make no predictions as to how long this roof might last. This has been Eric Haluzik with All Corners Home Inspections.